Good evening, everyone. We will talk about the topic of looking at what teaching English as a foreign language teachers actually do in our third meeting. Please listen to this topic carefully. The first one is answering common questions. Many would-be teachers are plagued with fears and insecurities about what teaching English as a foreign language is really like and whether they are up to the challenge. The second one is, can I teach English without knowing the student's language? In a word, yes. The only language you really need to know well is English. Some schools use the student's language in the classroom, but this is by no means typical of the teaching English as a foreign language industry as a whole, and it's positively discouraged in most cases. With so many different kinds of teaching situations and places to teach in, you'd have to know the language of everyone you may meet in the classroom at any point in your career. So neither you nor any other teacher would ever get started. The third one is, do I have to translate? Even though your students inevitably speak to you in their mother tongue from time to time, you can respond in simple English with gestures or pictures. Of course, you may not understand what they are saying anyway, and this just gives them real motivation for learning your language. In a way, it makes the whole situation more authentic. If you do translate in the classroom, you have to be absolutely certain that what you are saying corresponds exactly to the student's language. Students sometimes expect one language to translate word for word into another, but it just doesn't work like that. For example, you can translate bon voyage into good journey if you want to get the sense of the expression. The fourth one is, will the students be children? Youngsters in many countries need English lessons, but the state takes care of this by using primary and secondary school teachers. Teaching English as a foreign language teachers sometimes give support to the state education system, but do most of their work in the private sector. Parents often pay for extra English lessons, especially during the summer months. However, many adults and teenagers preparing for work abroad or in an international environment have a great desire to learn English. These students are highly motivated and usually well behaved. The fifth one is, do I have to know all the grammar in the English language? You don't need to know every last bit of English grammar, but you should aim to have a good working knowledge of all the tenses and be able to identify and explain all the parts of speech. In this case, nouns, verbs, adjectives, and so on. The aim of teaching English as a foreign language is to produce students who can speak the language almost as well as you can, at the most. In reality, very few students have the time and resources to stay in the classroom setting beyond upper, intermediate, or advanced level proficiency in the highest level. As soon as students feel confident that they can use English for whatever purposes they need, They often get on with their lips. This is why you don't need to know every last predicate and gerund. The sixth one is, can I teach without a degree and formal qualification? Yes, you can. But finding work is easier if you have them. Most schools advertise vacancies for graduates in any discipline who have teaching English as a foreign language certificate comprising about 100 hours of training. However, if you actually overseas and are prepared to troll around the local language schools, you may find that the schools welcome native speakers with open arms without the typical entry requirements. Get some training if you can, as this gives you better opportunities. The seventh one is, I hated language lesson at school. Will the job be like that? I remember some of the phrases I learned in my zero level French lessons. Most of them are pretty irrelevant to my life now and even to my life back then. Fortunately, language teaching has moved on rather a lot in the last 30 years. So these days, there's less emphasis on grammar drills and more emphasis on practical role playing and creating a relaxed learning environment. Even if education in general in your chosen destination is still rather dry, you can expect to teach according to the livelier techniques of the modern teaching English as a foreign language industry. The eighth one is, are there a lot of books and exercises for students to work through? You can make use of the stack of course books, works book, and resources books on the market, but most schools encourage teachers to use their own ideas too, depending on the country and the employer. You probably have a book and syllabus, but a fair amount of latitude as well. Most large bookshops have a section on English as a foreign language, so have a browse through some popular course books to get an idea of the kind of material teachers use. Some examples of course books that are popular in many countries are titles such as Innovation, Cutting Edge, and English File, which are available for each level of English student and cover elementary, pre-intermediate, and so on. And that's all for the presentation of our topic today. And now is the session of doing exercises. In this section or session, we have 3 questions that should be answered by the students within 30 minutes. The answer must be submitted at least before the class or lecture started next week. Thank you very much for today and have a good day. Goodbye.